Coming up on College Pressbox, a starting Longhorn declares for the NBA draft, the baseball team attempts to gain some momentum, and the softball team just keeps on rolling. All that and more on tonight's episode. Welcome to College Pressbox. I'm Corey Schneider. Our thoughts go out to all those affected by the Boston Marathon tragedy today. Here on the 40 acres, the golf team hosted the 47th annual Morris Williams Intercollegiate Tournament over the weekend on their home turf. Led by a second-round 5-under par 66 from junior Tony Hakula and 67s by senior Cody Gribble and sophomore Kramer Hickok, the Longhorns were able to end Saturday tied for first with TCU in New Mexico. On Sunday, the Horns had a bit of a slow start, but as the day progressed, so did the team. Gribble helped lead the Horns to their third consecutive Morris Williams victory. After going undefeated during Big 12 play, the team heads to Kansas next Monday through Wednesday for the Big 12 tournament. Texas sophomore point guard Mike Kabongo announced last week that he entered the NBL draft, skipping his final 2 seasons at UT. After a 23-game NCAA suspension for accepting illegal benefits, Kabongo played just the last 11 games of his sophomore season. Regardless, he had a substantial impact on the floor, leading the team in scoring, assists, and steals, with his talents earning him the MVP of the team. Let's welcome College Pressbox own Josh Blunt.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, it's a great day for me personally, but it's a sad day too. School has been everything that I imagined it to be. I've met some important people and some people that are going to be in my life for the rest of my life, really, from here. And it's a place where I built extended family away from home, being a foreign student. So it's been a great ride, obviously, my 2 years here at Texas. I've grown up so much as a person, as a player, as a leader, and I'm just very excited for this next stage of life. It was a hard decision, obviously, but you know, I'm thankful for the coaching staff, especially Coach Barnes, who's helped me throughout my 2 years. I've learned a whole lot from him, his knowledge of the game, and I'm very thankful that God has placed him in my life to be my collegiate coach. It's been a tough year for me. I was in the darkest stage of my life a couple months ago. You know, it was hard sitting, watching, and knowing what could have been a different season this year than what it was this year. We all think about that, but you know, you got to move forward with life, and you learn a lot, and I've learned a whole lot. I want to thank our managers, our staff that work behind the scenes that you don't get to see, the trainers that help us out, Eric Fry, the grad students that help us with coaching, Chris Babcock, just everybody that's been a part of this program that has helped this program become what it is today, obviously. And I'm just thankful and blessed, and just prayed on my situation. If you guys are wondering how I came up with this, is talked to God about it and my mom, and those are the only people I need to talk about. So I'm talked to when it comes to making decisions. So you know, you always hear you're not gonna get your college years back. You know, that's always in the back of my head. This is the time of your life. You know, I'm very much so at the time of my life here. Definitely experiences I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life. But it's time to start a new chapter in my life. You know, and I'm ready and excited for it. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's welcome College Pressbox analyst Josh Blunt into the studio. Josh, we know that Mike has had his impact on Texas basketball for however short a time, but how is he going to fare against top NBA prospects?
Well, right now, excuse me, with Caballo coming out, I see him as about the 4th or 5th prospect in the NBA draft behind Trey Burke of Michigan, Michael Carter-Williams of Syracuse, Marcus Smart of Oklahoma State, and potentially Shane Larkin of Miami. Now, Mike is a very solid prospect, sitting at 6'2". He's very athletic, has great ball ability, but at the same time, he does struggle in some areas, such as shooting and ball control, as he averaged about 3 turnovers a game at Texas and shot a little under 40%. But Mike is a very good prospect coming in to this year's draft.
UT basketball seems to always have these good players contributing what they can and then leaving. Where does Texas basketball go from here?
Well, there's not much you can do about players coming in and leaving. This is the state of the game now with the one-and-done players. But I think what Texas has to do is make the most of the one-and-done players that they have. They have a lot of talented players, and they do get their fair share of players who come in and stay. But Coach Barnes needs to figure out a way to put the teams together so that they can have success, extended success.
Josh, always appreciate your time.
Of course.
Both the men and women's Longhorn track teams competed Saturday in the Texas Invitational with stellar performances by many UT athletes. Kyle Thompson won the 800-meter run with a blazing 1 minute, 48-second time, the 6th best in the nation. Austin Bussing earned the gold in the 1,500-meter run. Will Spence was victorious in the discus, and freshman Victor Glaze III contributed a first-place finish in the high jump. Thompson, Bussing, and Glaze III all set career bests in their respective events. The 7th-ranked women's track team also earned victories in 4 events at the Invitational. Courtney Okolo ran a personal best 52.52 seconds in her 400-meter dash, with junior Brianna Nelson coming in a close second in the event. The Horns swept the 800-meter run, capturing the gold, silver, and bronze medals. Senior Kendra Chambers earned the victory with a time of 2 minutes and 6 seconds. The team will compete in the Mount Sac Relays in California on Thursday and Friday, and will return to Austin to host the Longhorn Invitational this Saturday. The Masters wasn't the only thing on the course recently. Find out what happened with Longhorn golf coming after the break. Welcome back to College Pressbox. On June 3, 2012, Texas senior Dylan Fratelli sunk a 30-foot putt on the 18th green to clinch the school's 3rd ever national championship over Alabama, Texas' first in 40 years. Our own Bailey Zara-Pavar tells us why head coach John Fields couldn't be happier.
John Fields remembers the moment well. A career-long quest was in reach.
The moment was unreal, really. I was on the 17th green when Cody Gribble holed out and won his match. If he doesn't win that match, we don't have a chance. My son was right with me. My wife and daughter were up at the 18th green. We started running up the right side of 18, and we were about 3/4 of the way done, but we were below the green. When we heard the roar, we didn't know really what had happened at that moment. I knew that Dylan and Corey Whitsitt being from Alabama, were tied going to the last hole. And when I heard that roar, I knew somebody had done something special. Immediately put together in my mind that that's got to be a Texas roar, because I know we had more fans than Alabama did. And further, my son was about 25 yards ahead of me, and he could see people in orange jumping up and down. To me, that's priceless, because he got to see that before I did.
He began the game of golf with his dad, but he was able to live out one of his best moments in the sport with his son.
My son was about 25 yards ahead of me, and he turned around and he said, "Dad, we just won a national championship. That's a big deal."
The 2012 team joins Texas golf legends like Ben Crenshaw and Tom Kite, but Fields is humble about the company he and his team share.
There were some great people back then, and I hope that our guys can be talked about that way as well. That would be a gift.
But what is a coach without his players? In a game where class and respect mean everything, Texas players have nothing but admiration for Coach Fields and the family he's created.
He knows what to do and when to do it.
He's one of the best coaches in the country.
Freshman Brandon Stone is South African and senior Julio Vegas is Venezuelan. For Stone in Vegas, golf is a family affair.
My dad was a professional golfer back home, and I was basically born with a golf club in my hand.
My whole family play golf, so when you grow up in that kind of environment, the only thing you're going to do is play golf.
Fields says he's not alone in his success.
It wasn't what I've done. it's what everybody else did to give me this opportunity.
Fields hopes it won't take another 40 years for the team to light the tower orange. Bailey Zarpavar, College Pressbox.
Joining me is our very own golf analyst, Jordan Cannon. Jordan, we've seen what this team can do in Big 12 play. How do you see them faring with the rest of the competition?
Big 12, I think, is going to be a cinch for UT because they're ranked number 6. And the next closest Big 12 team is TCU, which is ranked number 11. And then you have Oklahoma State, which is 14. And those are the only 3 Big 12 teams in the top 25 of the NCAA men's golf right now.
So if they can conquer the Big 12, how far do you see them going this year?
The NCAA tournament is the trickier one because Texas has already this season beat 2 of the top 3 teams. They beat Alabama at the Carpet Capital Invitational, which granted was in the fall of this year, so they still had Jordan Spieth on the team, so I don't know if that was going to make an effect. But also, New Mexico, number 3. Just this past weekend at the Morris Williams, Texas and New Mexico were tied going into the 3rd round, and New Mexico has been struggling, not only in this tournament, but in its last 2 tournaments. They've struggled on the last day to finish, so that's definitely a good sign for UT against some of the top 3 teams, but to know for sure, you're just going to have to tune in and keep up.
All right, there you have it. The Vegas family is no stranger to Texas golf. Senior Julio Vegas sat down with College Pressbox to talk about Texas National Championship and the family he's developed at Texas.
I mean, that was one of the goals that we set at the beginning of the year. And just by being able to accomplish that goal was such a long season. We played a ton of tournaments. Just being able to do so it was a great experience for me, and it was a great thing for our program. Special. I think just by the people around you pretty much every day, then it's pretty cool to have that kind of support. And pretty much it's just the people. It's great. It's awesome.
Newcomer freshman Brandon Stone has already made quite an impact on the reigning national champion since he stepped on the 40 acres. Stone told us why he came to Texas and why he just loves the game of golf.
Dylan Fratelli, a South African friend of mine, he came here, he's been here for the last 4 years and he graduated last semester. He told me about 2 years ago that Texas was interested in me and that this is a great place and there's a great family and great surroundings around here. So he introduced me to the environment. I met Coach Fields, met Coach Murphy, and one thing led to another, and here I am now. It's just so addictive. I don't know why. I mean, it's in my blood, which is quite nice. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, like I said to people, I find it's the most boring sport in the world, but I love it. I don't know. It's just something that it's been ingrained in me in life, and there's no better feeling for me than walking out on the golf course at 6:30 in the morning, wiping the dew off the greens and having a good time.
And now let's take a look at a former UT golfer who just recently went pro, Jordan Spieth. Let's see how he's been doing so far. He, in the Valero Texas Open, missed the cut. Shell Houston Open placed 50th. His highest finish has been the Puerto Rico Open, which he placed second in with a 19 under. His next upcoming tournament is the RBC Heritage at Harbortown and Golf Links in Hilton Head, which is a pretty big tournament. So I think you're not really going to be able to tell how Jordan Spieth can do until he performs at a big tournament like this RBC Heritage.
The Texas women's teams closed out their regular season play by shooting a season low on the 54-hole competition at the 17-team Ping ASU Invitational in Arizona. They finished 7th at the event and recorded their lowest 3-round total since 2009. This weekend they head to Iowa to try to extend their season at the Big 12 Championship. Jordan, always a pleasure. UT baseball heads to Lawrence, tried to take on the Jayhawks over the weekend, and the softball team stayed here in Austin to see how they did after the break. Welcome back to College Pressbox, where we do our best to help you appreciate Mondays. Joining me in the studio is now baseball beat writer Peter Splendorio. Peter?
Thanks, Corey. Glad to be here. Before heading out to Kansas, Texas baseball took a break from Big 12 play and welcomed Texas State to try to regain some winning momentum after losing a tough series to Oklahoma. Let's head out to the dish to see what the Longhorns cooked up on Tuesday night against the Bobcats. You know, coming off that series, Josh Urban, getting his first career start, had a 2.08 ERA in 9 appearances beforehand. Let's jump to the first inning when Andrew Stump singles to left field to score Garrett Matledge. That put Texas State up 1-0. But that lead would be short-lived because in the bottom of the first, Mark Payton would hit a deep fly ball to right field that will hit off one hop off the wall to score Eric Weiss. This will tie the game up 1-1. Now to the bottom of the second, Ty Marlowe, making his second start of the season in the field, hits a deep fly ball to left that makes it into the bullpen for his first career collegiate hit. Marlowe would add 2 more RBIs and another hit in the game for a big, second day in the lineup. Now on to the top of the seventh, Morgan McCann lines out to second baseman Brooks Marlowe, who dives for the double play. Texas would stop a comeback attempt, and they would go on to win 12-5 in what was their biggest offensive output of the season.
This weekend, the Horns headed north to Lawrence to face Big 12 rival Kansas in a 3-game series. Friday night's game featured offensive production from both squads. Ty Marlowe hit a home run in support of his performance on the mound, but Kansas center fielder Tucker Thorpe spoiled the Longhorns tonight when his only hit of the game came as a 2-out walk-off single to right in the bottom of the 12th, giving the Wildcats a 7-6 victory. After losing the opening matchup, the Longhorns fought back well Saturday in defensive competition led by sophomore Dylan Peters, who pitched a complete game, and the Horns won 2-1, evening the series at 1 game apiece. Unfortunately, Texas' Big 12 series losing streak continued Sunday as the Jayhawks earned a 4-3 victory. Detrimental errors late in the game combined with 12 stranded runners resulted in the rubber game loss and the series loss for the Horns. This loss in the third game of the series and choking when it matters most is nothing new to the Horns. Why is this happening?
Well, Texas has struggled so far this year in conference play, and I think a lot of that has to do with their inability to, win the close game. This year they're 9-7 in one-run games. 23 of their 34 games have been decided in games, in games that with 2 runs or less. But Texas is only 2-4 in their last 6 one-run games. And a lot of this is because they haven't been able to score the runs. Parker French, Nathan Thorhill, Dylan Peters are all having strong seasons in the starting rotation. But the lineup, has generally struggled. They haven't stolen as many bases as they did to start the year, and they haven't had that guy that could drive in the big run at the right time so far.
So we know what they need to do. Are they going to do it? Do you see them breaking out of this losing streak later in the season?
Well, they definitely have the potential, and they showed that with their 12 runs and 16 hits against Texas State last Tuesday. I think it's going to come down to whether they can continue to get people on base and get those guys home. You said in Sunday's finale they left 12 people on base. That's not acceptable. They're going to have to be able to manufacture more runs because, they're not hitting a lot of home runs. And they're going to have to get more production from other parts of the lineup besides Eric Weiss and Mark Payton. 2 guys that have done it all year. But we're going to need to see some stuff from the bottom of the order, I think, for them to start winning some of these conference series.
Peter Splendorio doing what he does. Crossing the street now, softball has had a lot of success this season. And we now welcome in College Pressbox softball analyst Garrett Green. Garrett, thank you for joining me tonight. What can you tell me about Texas softball's success this year?
Well, so far, Texas softball, they've been really successful, but we're going to go ahead and take you out and show you some of that success as we go to the highlights from Friday night whenever Texas started their 3-game series versus Big 12 foe, Iowa State. Now, as we start here, the Horns, their customary pregame huddle, they break out, and they're looking to break out the offense. We're here in the bottom of the second. Taylor Hoagland, she's going to double to right center field. That's going to score Tori Schmidt and Karina Scott. The Horns, they are up 3-0 by the end of the inning. Now we go to the bottom of the third, and Erin Shireman, she wants to get in on the action. She's going to double to right. That's going to bring home Schmidt and Scott again. 2 RBIs for Shireman, and the Horns are up 5-0. Now we go in later on in the third inning. Texas up 6-0. Thumb drives in the RBI opposite field as Stephanie Seo comes home to score. The Horns are up 7-0 through 3. And, of course, the big story for the Horns this season, Blair Luna doing what she does best, striking out batters as she strikes out the last batter to end the ball game there. Luna earns her 100th career win as the Longhorns go on to win 8-0 through 5 innings.
The team used their Friday victory as momentum into the weekend, getting ahead and staying ahead early. Senior Taylor Hoagland smashed her second grand slam of the season in the bottom of the first inning, in which the Horns scored a record-tying 9 runs. They would maintain that lead for the duration of the game, beating the Cyclones 12-4 in the second game of the weekend series. Sunday's game featured 2 RBIs apiece from junior Taylor Thorne and senior Kim Bruins, when the Horns cruised to a 7-2 victory to complete the sweep of Big 12 rival Iowa State. The win is the softball team's 15th consecutive victory victory, putting them at a dominant 38-4 on the season. The powerhouse Longhorns stay in Austin to face number 1 ranked Oklahoma this weekend, with hopes of ruining the Sooners' perfect Big 12 record this season. So why have they been so successful, and what can you tell me about where this is going to go in the future?
Well, you know, we mentioned it. The reason that they've been so successful thus far, it's been Blair Luna. She's been lights out. She threw no hitters. That's right. 2 in back-to-back starts in the wins versus Western Kentucky, and then game 1 of the series this past weekend versus Iowa State. Add on the fact that she struck out more than half of the batters that she's faced this season in 140 and a third innings, and her ERA is a 0.95. Luna, she is in true senior form, but really Kim Bruins and Taylor Thom stepping up has been the biggest boost for the Longhorns this season. Bruins is 8-0 in 10 starts, 7 of those complete games. Her ERA is under 2 at 1.77, and her 63 innings worth of work have helped take the pressure off of Luna. But as I mentioned, it's Taylor Thom's production that has been huge. This team lost almost half of its offensive production and 3 graduating seniors from last year, and Thom's surge has been the most impressive improvement of this team. Last season, she only hit right around 300 and had 28 RBIs and only 11 extra base hits. This season, she's batting .389 with 12 doubles and 10 home runs, and more importantly, she's leading the team with 46 RBIs, and they still have 10 games left to go. As for those 10 games, you know, you take a look at it, they do welcome in number 1 Oklahoma for 3 games this weekend. Then they have a meat grinder their schedule when they head out to Texas Tech, and they also have to go to Stillwater to take on the Cowgirls before they come home and finish the season versus Baylor. They're getting into that thick middle of their Big 12 schedule right now, so we're going to see really how good this Texas team is. They beat the teams they were supposed to beat so far. Now they see the powerhouse Big 12 competition down the stretch. It's going to be some exciting softball down the stretch for the season to see what happens for the Horns.
Exciting as always, and Garrett Green always keeping it exciting. Thank you, Garrett.
Glad to be on.
Do you know what's been going on at the Masters? And also, volleyball is doing work in the offseason right here on College Pressbox. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to College Pressbox on this lovely Monday evening. The 23rd ranked men's tennis team headed up I-35 this weekend to face Big 12 rival TCU in Fort Worth on Saturday, earning a 4-3 victory in exciting fashion to improve their overall record to 14-6 and their conference record to 2-1. Soren Hess-Olesen, Lloyd Gaspel, and David Hollander all provided 3-set victories for Texas. Tied at 3 matches apiece, the pressure lay on senior Daniel Whitehead, who beat Orlando Superlano in a 3rd-set tiebreaker to give the Longhorns the victory. Whitehead now has 5 match-clinching victories this season. The Longhorns conclude their regular season with matches in Austin against Baylor on Wednesday and Texas Tech Sunday. The women's tennis squad headed a little further north to take on Kansas State in Manhattan on Saturday and won all 9 matches against the Wildcats. The victory improves their record to 6-1 in conference play. You can see the Horns' victories there, but the real feat was accomplished by freshman Brianna Addison, who upset a top 15 player on K-State in straight sets. They head to Waco and Fort Worth this weekend to complete conference play before the Big 12 tournament in Oklahoma in 2 weeks. Texas volleyball played New Mexico State in a 5-set matchup this past Saturday and won all 5 sets. The NCAA champion Horns held the Aggies to only 6% in hitting percentage. Rising senior Bailey Webster had game-high 14 kills, and rising junior Haley Eckerman earned 12 kills. Senior Hannah Allison recorded 29 assists and 7 digs against the Aggies. The Horns will look to finish their spring schedule this upcoming Saturday at the Collegiate Showcase in Dallas. Yesterday marked the final round of the 77th Masters Tournament in Augusta, Georgia. Our own Josh Blunt went out on campus to see what the Longhorns knew about the Masters.
What's up, Longhorn Nation? My name is Josh, and today we got some of your fellow Longhorns' take on the Masters Tournament. This past weekend, it was the Masters Golf Tournament. Do you know who won the tournament?
We did. Didn't we?
Adam Scott won the Masters.
Yes, Adam Scott, right?
I don't.
Not exactly. I know it was a big controversy or like a huge last point lead, but I forget who won.
I've not watched SportsCenter yet, so I haven't found out.
What year did the Masters start?
1977.
Semi-close, but it was actually 1939.
83.
Like 43.
I do not. When was golf invented? All right, somewhere like maybe like 15 years after it was like invented. General time frame.
Could you name the past 5 winners of the Masters tournament?
I cannot.
You want to take a guess?
No, I have no idea.
What's the better name, Tiger, Bubba, or Angel?
Bubba Watson for life.
Bubba.
Tiger. Yeah. Tiger.
Bubba Watson, only because he has that floating golf cart thing. That's pretty dope.
That is the
And plus, Bubba Gump, shrimp boat. That's all you need.
Bubba's classic. You gotta go. Yeah, Bubba. That takes the cake right there.
And every year before the Masters, the previous winner gets to choose the Masters dinner before the tournament. So what dinner would you choose to feed the other golfers?
To feed the other golfers? Probably take them to a steakhouse. I don't know.
I would feed them Indian food and not eat it.
Do I get to eat it, or does the other golfer get to eat it?
Oh yeah, you get to eat it too.
I'd eat chicken parmesan. I don't care what they're eating. I care what I'm eating, man.
In other news, Texas Quidditch won the 2013 International Quidditch Association's World Cup this past weekend in Florida. They dominated UCLA in the championship, winning 190-80 en route to their championship victory. The team beat A&M and Bowling Green State University. They destroyed their competition throughout the tournament, doubling their opponent's score in most of their tournament matches. The tower will be lit in honor of their victory. This weekend in Longhorn sports, we have Friday, we have baseball against West Virginia in Austin, softball also in Austin against the Sooners. Men and women's track head to California for the Mount Sac relays. Women's tennis heads up north for Baylor tennis. Women's golf Big 12 championship in Iowa. Continuing on Saturday, we have baseball resuming play against West Virginia, softball the same. Men's and women's track Longhorn Invitational hosting in Austin. Women's volleyball has the Collegiate Showcase in Dallas. Women's golf still maintaining their tournament in Iowa. And concluding on Sunday, we have baseball finishing their match, softball the same. Women's tennis heads to Fort Worth, play TCU. Men's tennis stays here in Austin, face the Red Raiders. And women's golf has their Big 12 championship in Rhodes. Well, that's all we have for you this weekend in College Pressbox. Be sure to tweet us at College Pressbox and tune in on Wednesday nights at 9:30 for College Crossfire, or tweet them at College Xfire. Well, that's all I have for you this week. I'm Corey Schneider.
Hook 'em on, yeah, I hook 'em up.